When you're thinking about moving to a new city, it's hard to know what's real. You can read blogs, watch videos, even visit once or twice, but until you live somewhere, you don't really know how it feels. Maybe that's where you are right now. You're researching Cleveland, trying to figure out which suburb fits, what the people are like, what life here actually feels like. And under all that research is the same quiet question I had when I was in your shoes. Am I really ready to start over somewhere new? About 10 years ago, I packed up everything I owned and headed for Cleveland. I didn't have a big plan. We just knew we needed a change. I was coming from the South, and to be honest, I didn't know a single person here. I remember that first drive into the city. It was gray, right? The kind of cold that hits different off of Lake Erie. And I kept thinking, what did I just do? Those first few months were pretty humbling. I'd type best suburbs near Cleveland into Google every night, just trying to picture what life would look like in a place that I'd never lived. I didn't know where the good schools were, which neighborhoods felt family friendly, or like where to even grab a decent cup of coffee. And I know some of you watching are doing the same thing right now. You're scrolling through Zillow, you're flipping between suburb maps, just trying to imagine where you'd fit. And then came that first Cleveland winter. Snow piled up in ways I didn't know were possible. I didn't even own a snow shovel. And one morning I went outside to find my car, my yard, everything completely buried. And before I could even start to figure out where to begin, my neighbor walked over, shovel in hand, and just said, "Welcome to Cleveland." We cleared that driveway together, and it sounds simple, but that moment stuck with me. It was the first time I thought, maybe we're not so alone here after all. And that's what I started to learn about this city. Cleveland's not trying to impress you. All it's doing is trying to include you. It's the guy who lets you merge when traffic's backed up on I-90. It's the coffee shop owner who remembers your name after the second visit. It's like all the Friday night football games that feel more like community gatherings than sporting events. I started exploring the west side, Bay Village, Rocky River, Westlake, and I noticed how every suburb sort of has its own rhythm. Bay felt like a lake town where life really slows down on purpose. Westlake was convenient, established, full of families who'd been there for generations. And Rocky River had this balance of walkability and charm that just felt right. And one weekend I remember driving down Lake Road at sunset. The sky was gold over the water, kids were riding bikes, and I just thought to myself, this feels like home. And not because it was perfect, but because it was real. And by the way, if you're still in that early stage of figuring out what life here actually looks like, check out my Moving to Cleveland video after this one. I'll link it right here on the screen. It walks you through the things I wish I'd known before I made the move. So if you're in that same spot now, you're just trying to decide whether this is the right move, wondering which suburb fits best, and you're just hoping to find a place that feels like home, you don't have to figure it out alone. Because moving isn't just about changing your address. It's really about identity. It's about finding the neighborhood that matches your rhythm, that matches your values, your way of life. And that's really what I love about Cleveland. There's truly a place for everyone. So whether you're drawn to the walkability of Lakewood, or the quiet streets of Avon, or the community feel of Strongsville, each corner of Cleveland tells a little bit of a different story. The key is just matching your story to the one that's already being written there. And since moving here, I've had the privilege of helping a lot of families make this same transition. Every story starts the same way. It's just a simple conversation. We talk about what matters most to you: schools, commute, community, lifestyle. And then we start mapping out which part of Cleveland fits you best. It's not about selling houses. It's about helping people find belonging. Because when you get that part right, when you find the community that matches your values, everything else falls into place. So if you're thinking about moving to Cleveland, or even just curious what life here could look like, I'd love to help you start that process. You can reach out anytime. All my info is below. And we'll walk through what this could look like for you. And if you're still early in the research phase, I've linked a few videos below that'll help you get a feel for things. My Moving to Cleveland guide and best suburbs video are great starting points. Now, here's the thing about Cleveland. It's not perfect. It's blue collar, it's weathered, but it's real. It's a city that doesn't need to impress you because it knows what it is. 10 years ago, I moved here with no connections and a lot of uncertainty. And now, it's home. And not just because I live here, but because I belong here. Cleveland's taught me that sometimes the best chapters of life start in places you never expected. So if you're wondering whether Cleveland could be home for you too, I can tell you from experience, it just might surprise you.